Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Raising Vibration Radio. I am your host, Reverend Raven, and tonight we have a special guest that lives right here in my hometown, a homie, Eternal Walker. Eternal, thank you so much for joining the show tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
So, Eternal, tell us a little bit about your background.
How much time do we have?
We have as much time as you want. Go for it. Share what you want to share.
Okay. I like gummy bears. No, I'm just kidding. I've been reading professionally for almost 22 years. I started reading at a shop in Greensboro, North Carolina. Professionally reading in the shop in Greensboro, North Carolina, by the name of Eclectic by Nature. And I've ran from my gifts. I've ran from reading, and as I've ran, that's when life kind of gets really rough. And so I've just learned to kind of, I guess you can say, just accept and use them for, use my gifts to help other people. And I try my very best to, to reach out and help as many people as I can.
That's beautiful. And did you know you had this gift as a child too, as well?
Well, it's funny. I was the only boy in my family, for about 13 years. When I was born, I was born into a whole slew of girls. And so my grandmother, she always just called me Big Boy.
Aww.
Yeah, and she made it a point to kind of exploit me as the boy of the family.
Right.
But she always told me that there would be, that I would be different, that people wouldn't like me for something that I couldn't explain, and then there would be some people that would love me. And I went to church. I was in a Baptist church for a while, and that's where she was. And so, it was like a family church. My grandfather was the pastor. My grandmother was like the pastor's wife / the mother of the church. And, it was that kind of thing. And it wasn't until I stepped out of the church and went to a different church, I went to an apostolic church, that I realized that I actually had, I had a gift. And it wasn't that it was a gift. It was more like a shock, because I went to the church. I'll never forget it. It was a picnic. It was right after July 4th. It was a picnic at the church, and this is in Kernersville, North Carolina. And I went with a person that I had this tremendous crush on. That's what got me to the church to start with, was this, this girl that I had a tremendous crush on. And when I went there, we were playing volleyball and everything outside. And then she said, "Hey, we're going to go inside and, we're going to go inside and we're going to pray." I said, "Okay, cool. Let's go pray. That's fine." And that's about the way I said it. It wasn't anything like serious. And I went inside, and it was a youth group. And it was fantastic, because they were kneeling, and everyone was praying their own individual prayer.
Right.
And it was kind of dark in the room. And so it was like you were in there on your own, kind of, it was isolating feeling. And, we started praying, and all of a sudden I started, like, uttering something, like speaking in tongues.
Right.
And as I started speaking, I got kind of afraid, and I ran and sat down. And there was a woman by the name of Kathy, and she told me that everything was fine. And she told me I should come back that Sunday and get baptized. And so I went back, that following Sunday. That was a Thursday, I believe, and went back the following Sunday. And I went to church, and they called for the new members and the baptized, the ones that wanted to be baptized. And I went up, and they put me in a white robe and took me up to the baptismal pool, which was behind the pulpit.
Right.
And the guy, he said, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold you, put your hands up on your nose so you don't breathe in the water. You're not a fish." And he said, "I'm going to dunk you 3 times, and then after that, you're fine." And the first time I went down, it was like I just got dunked in water.
Right.
The second time I went down, it felt like I was almost like I was transported somewhere. And it seemed like it was like a long time. And then the third time I went down, it seemed like forever. But it wasn't like I was gasping for air or anything. It just seemed like forever. And when I came back up, I was speaking in tongues again, and I saw entrails on people. I started seeing shadows everywhere in the church, and
Wow.
people were walking around, and I saw stuff behind them, and I didn't know what was going on. I rubbed my eyes. I was kind of freaking out, and there was Kathy again, and her gift was to translate speaking in tongues. And so she translated, and she was telling me all this stuff that I had heard before, but in a little bit more detail.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you have a gift that you will not be able to run from. And I said, "Oh, okay, and as a kid, I was like, okay, yeah, okay. And from that moment, from that moment, everything in my life has changed.
Wow.
Long answer, but.
No, that is beautiful. So your grandma too, did she have this gift as well?
My grandmother, before she passed, I don't know what she had, but I do know that there would be times where she would say, "Children, I'm going to be upstairs for a bit. I have to, I'm putting so and so at the altar." And it never clicked. It never clicked with any of us. What do you mean putting them at the altar? And we never saw her get up and, go and like when they did altar call in the church, we never saw her get up and go and do the altar call. And so what she did was, and again, this is kind of speculation because my grandmother was a first generation slave. She actually grew up in slavery. And so a lot of her things that she did were kind of secretive.
Mm-hmm.
So I suspect that she had, she had these gifts as well. And my entire family is spiritual. My aunt, my uncle, my cousins, they're all reverends. They're all, all evangelists. My oldest uncle, he's over in Portland, Oregon, and he's a minister of a church there. And my youngest uncle is a minister of music where he can sit down on the piano and he can play whatever he hears on the radio just after the first hear. It's my entire family is very spiritual, so it's more like I guess you can say it's more like a birthright, if you may.
Right. Wow. Let me ask you something. You said your family started out in a Baptist church, and you guys, hang on, I'm going to get to the phone lines here in just a second. But you said you started out in a Baptist church. Mm-hmm. Did you ever feel like yuck when you were in the Baptist church?
I didn't. I felt out of place because there were a couple of things that I to this day can kind of pinpoint and tell you. I remember sitting in the third row of the church, and it was a small church. It wasn't huge, but I can remember sitting in the third row of the church, and the deacons were on the left-hand side against the wall, and there was an aisle on the right-hand side with some stained glass windows. Up in the front of the church was like 2 steps for the altar, and the pulpit was in the middle. The preacher stand was in the middle. The organ was on the right of the preacher, and the drums were on the left. And sitting there in the third row, I remember sitting there and wishing I could dance. Wishing I could like sway because the music moved me. But everyone in the church said shouting and dancing and praising is for grown folk. And that was their exact words. And so I felt like I could not do anything. So that's what kind of drove me out of the church, and I went to the Apostolic Church. And when I went there, I saw kids dancing, older people dancing. You saw everyone dancing and singing and clapping and swaying, and so that's really the only thing I remember about being out of place or feeling like yucky. Because I wanted to move. I wanted to be lively.
Right. Wow. That is totally amazing. I went to a Baptist church, but I was much older than you, and there was words that were said by the preacher that just did not resonate with me, and I could get physically sick to my stomach. And you had that experience?
I've had that happen as earlier, or not earlier, but as of being older. Earlier this year, it actually happened. We went to a church, and it was a Pentecostal church. We went with some friends of mine, and the pastor said something that he was quoting the scripture. I believe it was I want to say it was in Deuteronomy, where he was talking about the witches and doing away with them, and the people that feel the need to change their sex because God makes them perfect and all this stuff. And I sat there and I felt that gut wrenching. Mm-hmm. And when I felt it, I stopped for a moment and I was like, why does this bother me? Because apparently something there is being said that's bothering me. And the reason why it bothered me is because I did not see I didn't see the good in what he was saying. I don't think I really don't think he believed what he was saying. I think he was saying it to kind of get the congregation, the attention of the congregation, because that message that day was very heavy.
Right.
He was saying, I don't care what you think. You can't be here at this church. Church is not going to save you. And I mean, it was a heavy message for a church. So I don't really think he said that as a belief. I think he said that more like shock value. And it bothered me because I cannot stand an unauthentic person. If you can't be real, I don't want to even have to deal with you.
Right.
I don't want to deal with you. And that's the thing that bothered me. It wasn't the message so much.
I totally agree with you. You can feel the energy of a person and whether they're true or not. And it can, their love with, because when you're being truthful and sending out, that authentic self of you, that's pure love. And if they're not there, then it just kind of grosses you out, right?
Right.
So, all right. So, tonight, I told them, you're up for doing some readings tonight, aren't you?
Sure. I'm always up for readings.
Okay. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one person and I want to ask you some more questions and we'll do it that way so you can get a break in between and stuff like that. And since Kelly Joe's mom is celebrating her 84th birthday tonight, she wanted to get a reading. So I'm going to pop her on real quick first, okay? So I'm going to go bring on Miss Kelly Joe here. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Is your mom with you?
She's right here. Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
how
Mom.
are you?
Hi.
All right. So, do you have any particular questions, concerns, or you just want to?
No, just
Okay.
whatever you have to tell me.
All right. Well, I can tell you that you're lovely because being 84 is not an easy thing.
Thank you.
Let's see.
You don't sound a day over 22.
Oh, great.
I know. Wow, you sound really young.
Well, I feel good.
Well, good for you. Good for you. You sound really young. Do you work for one of those phone operation things?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
All right.
I
All
might
right.
have to try, huh?
Yeah, you would totally win them over.
All right. So, a couple of questions before I get started. Let's see. The first question is, how do you feel? Like sleeping wise, health wise, you're sleeping well?
I sleep good.
Okay, good. Good. The reason why I ask is because there's the first card I pulled was the Two of Swords, and that is a card that basically talks about just being at ease and being at peace with things around you, getting more rest and being able to kind of relax. Typically the card comes out when someone needs to chill out. But as it being the first card, I would just say, try and remember, to just take things calmly. And the reason why is because the next card, was the Hanged Man, which is a card that basically deals with being stuck at the moment, like feeling like you don't know which way to go, what you need to do, feeling like you're all over the place. Or actually in this case, it seems like your surroundings is all over the place. And instead of trying to fix everything, I would just say to try and give some wisdom, quietly give some wisdom the way you typically do. And keep everyone, I guess you can say, positive. And when someone isn't positive, stop taking it on yourself like you have to do something to fix it.
Okay.
Everyone makes their own decision. Everyone makes their choices as far as their words and their energies and whatnot. And if you decide to try and take on their energy, then you're robbing yourself of your own positivity.
Okay.
I mean, I really don't have much negative to say. It's not really any negative here. There's the Hermit. It seems like you like to be by yourself some. Like, it's almost like you like to just disappear from society for a minute, like go into your own self.
Right.
And that's good. Just keep in mind that your light only helps if it shines on others.
Okay.
Yes, it can guide you through the darkness, but if you're only guiding yourself, what good is it? You're not helping other people. And I'm not saying that that's what you're doing. I'm just telling you that as a reminder.
Okay.
And let's see. We have the Temperance card that popped up, and that is basically being able to balance the good, the bad, the oil, the water, being able to balance it all and bring it all together, making it so it doesn't seem like it's work. Like you make it look easy.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all I have. I mean, I pulled 6 cards, and all of them kind of repeat themselves. It's just
that's
be
good.
okay.
So she needs to get out and party some more, right?
Yeah. Kick up my heels, huh?
Right. I mean,
so Kelly Jo, what is your mom's name?
Joyce.
Joyce, I'm going to unmute everybody that's online, and we're going to sing happy birthday to Joyce, okay? So
thank you.
I want everybody to sing happy birthday to Joyce. I'm going to unmute you and everything, so we're all unmuted. And are you guys all there? Say hello if you're listening.
Hello.
Hello.
Yay! Okay, so on the count of three, we're all going to sing happy birthday to Joyce. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joyce. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope you have an amazing birthday. You're so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that was lovely. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now, Kelly, you wanted a quick reading too as well?
Sure.
Okay. So Kelly's on the line with us too, Eternal.
All right.
Hi, Eternal. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm good.
Tell me the truth.
Mom.
Tell me the truth.
What you need?
I said, tell me the truth. That was the vibration there was a little low.
I said thank you for reading Mom.
Oh, yes, but I'm saying when I said, how are you? And you said you're good, that vibration was a little low.
Well, I'll get where I need to go. Right now, I had one of those days, but I'll get where I need to go.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so right now, I can tell you that you are the one person that is like, I guess it's almost like a self-confidence booster. You give everyone else kind of like a pep talk.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Yeah, I mean, I see it's like three cards here. It's the Princess of Cups, and then there's the Ace of Discs, and then there's the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands talks about being kind of like fiery. It's also a masculine card, which means that you're assertive. But those three cards together would basically, point out the fact that you are like the pep talker.
I am. You hit the nail on the head.
Okay, but there isn't someone there that gives you the same amount of pep talk.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, and for that, it seems like you are in I guess you can say your own virtual jail, if you may. It's more like it's like a three-sided box. You can get out of it, but you choose to stay in it because it's nice and you're in there by yourself.
I don't like being all by myself.
No, but it's better than hanging out with someone that zaps you full of your energy, zaps your energy away from you and stops you from being able to be the best that you can be.
Correct.
But I do see two cards that are a little troublesome. I see there's the Two of Discs, which talks about changing the way that you ground, changing what you do and how you do it. And then there's the Seven of Discs, which talks about the possible impending doom of failure. And I say the impending doom of failure because you only fail when you stop. You never fail until you give up and stop. And honestly, the one that bothers me the most is the Two of Discs because it's like you're not grounded. You're trying to find your ground, but it's like it's escaping from you.
So what should I do to do that?
Two things. The first thing is breathe. Remember to breathe. A lot of the times we get caught up in our day-to-day, our issues, our problems, that we forget to actually breathe. And when I say breathe, I'm talking about inhaling through your nose, filling your lungs, filling your chest rise, and exhaling out of your mouth and letting all of your troubles go with it.
Okay.
I know it sounds like so easy. It's so simple, but it really isn't. As a matter of fact, it's probably it's probably one of the worst pieces of advice I can give someone because it's that difficult. Because you have to, if you're not used to it, you have to stay focused on that moment as you're breathing. And how many times do we breathe throughout the day and not think about it?
All the time.
Right. So just imagine starting to think about it. You know, it's going to be excruciating at the beginning, and then it's going to get easier. And before you know it, your whole environment changes because no longer are you concentrating on what so-and-so said or what you're going to do in the next moment or what you're going to do tomorrow or what you've done. It's going to be, it really is going to be, what am I doing right now? How am I feeling? Let me get this breath through. Let me exhale my problems. And once I do that, then we'll move on. Until I do that, we won't move on. And so you're stuck in that moment, which is a fantastic place to be. But keep in mind the one thing that I guess the one thing that I can't stress to anyone enough is that if you're not grounded, if you're not able to stop, what's going to end up happening is you're going to come off course to the point of not knowing your path, which then causes you to get lost, which then causes you to get frustrated, which then causes you to get sick.
You're right.
So the best, I'm gonna pull two more cards here. Ooh, that's a good card. That's the Chariot for you. Okay. And the last card is not such a good card, but it tells me a lot about you. You have a hard time trusting people?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I get a bad feeling about it. Yeah, I'll just step away.
Okay. Do you have a hard time trusting? Actually, I already know the answer to that one, but I'll ask you anyway. Do you have a hard time trusting the fact that everything's going to be okay?
No, it always turns out.
Okay.
Even if you're in a space where you don't think it's gonna, it always turns out.
Right.
You aren't gonna fall in a mud puddle and drown in an inch of water.
True.
Stand up, roll over.
Right. Well, I would caution you against being critical of those that don't resonate with you. Because sometimes it's not about them resonating with you, it's about you resonating with them.
Okay.
Maybe it's something in your personal circle that could stand to be changed.
Well, what I do is I trust everybody until proven otherwise.
Okay. Okay. Got you.
I extend my hand.
Okay. I used to be that way, and then I started working in the school system.
In the what system?
In the school system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you do that enough times, and then you'll have a kid try to use your name against you, and yeah. So I work in high schools.
Oh.
So yeah, I work in a high school. So the high school, that's where they need me the most, but it's the hardest place to be sometimes.
Oh yeah, I have teachers that I talk with. Whoa, and principals.
Right.
Whoa.
But generally, I mean, it was a good. It's a good layout. The only thing that I would caution you against is, making sure that you stay grounded.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. So I'm going to Kelly, thanks so much for bringing your mom in and playing with us tonight. You're so beautiful.
You are too. You're just excellent.
Well, I just love you, child. So hang in there. I'm sending you my love.
Thank you. Thank you for the reading. You're awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna put them on mute, and then in just a minute we're gonna take another caller. But I brought up this picture that I got from your Facebook page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what this means to you.
Lakshmi.
Yes.
Um,
I didn't even know what her name or his name was, so.
Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance,
Cool.
and it reminds me to give unselfishly, because what you give, you will gain. Sometimes we get into that rut of, oh, well, they haven't done anything for me, so I'm not going to do anything for them.
Right.
I try my best to remind myself, the more you give, the more you get. She's, as you can see, it's just giving. There's riches, there's the money that it's pouring out, it's overflowing actually, and there's the food, and everything is kind of surreal and and great. And Lakshmi, she comes in and she will quickly break through whatever problem you have if you call upon her. She'll quickly break through your problem and help you find the abundance. And then, I think one of the callers just said it, Ganesh and Lakshmi.
Mhm.
Ganesh is the other one that I try to remind myself to be toward, because Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. There's actually a chant for Ganesh to come in and remove the obstacles, and when you do, when that happens, trust me, they will be moved. It may not be nice, but they'll be moved.
Ah. Okay, so all right, I'm going to make a confession here, okay? And I know you guys are waiting for a reading, and I'm going to get to you. So please don't hang up. I know one of you already hung up, and I apologize. But so in December, I put out to the universe that I would like my cousin to move on to bigger and better things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that she go out and meet more people around her age, and she gets to have fun and all that stuff. Now my cousin is in a facility. She's no longer living here. She's in a facility, and she's fixing to go to hospice because she's got cancer all over her body. I feel responsible.
Okay.
Okay?
I would say, number one, whenever you talk to the universe, make sure you're very specific. Because the universe has a twisted sense of humor sometimes.
Mhm.
And the next thing I would say is, you're definitely not at all responsible for that happening. What I believe is that you put it out there for her energy to accept the, the changes, the things coming, and it's nothing that you could have done to stop that from happening, except, I guess the only thing, well, actually, no, there would be nothing you could do, because it was going to come regardless.
Yeah, but it just feels yucky, it feels yucky what's going on. I mean, just a month ago we had some tests done, and everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, bam,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, whew, and it's taking over really fast and stuff, and I think I was specific what I put out there, but maybe you're right. I've got to be more into, really specific and stuff like that. And the same thing happened with my mom when she died. When I put out there, I took care of my mom for 10 years. and everything. And then, I finally started going out and taking care of myself and, going to do things. And the weekend that I went out to go take care of me and get out of the house and stuff like that, she comes down with pneumonia and she dies a painful death 3 weeks later from this. Her brain quits telling her lungs to quit working and stuff. So, you know what I mean? I feel like, cause I started doing something for myself and then look at this change that happens.
Well, here's the comfort in that. You don't know for a fact what was going on in their person. Their spirit may have been tormented, and they may have been asking to go. They may have been asking to leave. They may have been asking for a change. You would never know. And one of the callers said something about not being able to get in hospice without your help. It's not easy to get in hospice.
Right.
It really is difficult to get into hospice. So for her to get into hospice that's a monumental feat by itself.
Right.
And I don't believe that your intention was to make her feel bad. I think your intention was to help her move along in life.
That was my intention. I wanted her to go and be with her family up in Gainesville, with her daughter and her grandkids, where they all are and stuff like that, and to reconnect, because there was some tension between them all, and I was working towards getting them back together and everything. Well, they're going to transport her up to Gainesville in an ambulance from the facility. She broke her hip. That's how we found out she had cancer all over her body. She was she was standing up. This is just her femur and her hip broke standing up while opening a sliding glass door.
Oh, wow.
Right? And it just went like that. And the femur is the hardest bone to break that we have, right? So it just, and then she slid on the floor and everything like that. So they took her into the hospital. They did a repair. They could not do the standard hip replacement, where they screw the things to the bones, because there was nothing to screw to. They had to glue everything together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then the doctor says, oh, she's got it in her hip. She has it in her hips. She's got it in her bones, for one thing. She has it in her chest, and we think she has it in her brain. But the weird thing is that none of it showed up in test a month before. It is so weird that it happened so quickly like that.
It is, but there's a reason.
Oh, I know. I know.
There's always the reason.
I know. All right. But you were saying that we have to be careful, how we ask for things to what's Lamix? Is that what her name is?
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi. Thank you. So we have to be careful how we ask for things, though, because it could be ugly how we get it, right?
Exactly.
Right.
It's like one quick story. About 12 years ago, I was doing research, and I was wanting something to, I was wanting things to be removed from my life that I no longer needed. And I remember I was reading about different gods and goddesses and things that they liked, and I called in Kali Ma, which is the dark mother, the African dark mother. And I called her in, and just to get her to remove the negativity out of my life. And when I called her in, it was this is going to sound like a story, but it was a dark and stormy night when I called her in. And I basically said I wanted to get all of the garbage out of my life. I did not want any of the mess that was going on in my life.
Right.
2 days later, I go to work. I'm driving. I go to work. I park my van outside of my job. I come out to get something out of my van, like right when I go inside, I come back out to go get something out of my van. My van is gone. Someone stole my van.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. In my van were my clothes because after I got off of work, I was going to go and do laundry. Okay.
Mm.
So my van and my clothes gone.
Wow.
I get a ride home from my manager.
Right.
I get home. My girlfriend at the time told me that she didn't want to be with me any longer. That she felt like I was too good because she wanted to do drugs and drink, and that's not something I've ever done. And so she said she didn't want to be with me because I'm too good. So I had until that Monday. She was leaving for the weekend. When she got back on Monday, she expected me gone from the house, even though we were on the same lease. So that was done. My girlfriend was gone. My clothes are gone. My trash was gone. My car was gone. And then I'm walking up the road to get to another car. It was a 79 truck. It was like a 79 GMC truck. And when I went up to get the truck, the transmission gave out on it. So
Wow.
when I say you want to be specific, yeah, I said the trash. I didn't know that's what the universe meant by trash.
Wow. Did it turn around for you after that, though? I mean, how
Well,
soon
yeah.
was it?
Well, it was about 6 months.
6 months?
About 6 months. I could have wrote the perfect country song at that
Right?
time. I lost it all. But the beautiful thing about it is when I lost all of that, there
Yeah.
were two people that stayed in my life, and those two people helped see me through it. There's a friend of mine named Tavane, the one I mentioned earlier, her, and then a friend of mine named Tamara. Those were the two people
Wow.
out of everyone that just stood there and said, "Hey, we're going to we're going to help you get through this."
Right. Wow. And they're still in your life today?
They are still in my life today. Last Wednesday, I believe I went up to North Carolina with my wife and we saw Tavane, and she's doing fantastic. And my friend Tamara, she lives in West Virginia, and we talk. We talk periodically, but if I needed to talk, she'll be right there.
Oh, awesome.
When my favorite artist passed away earlier this year, she called me. She called me and she was like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Aw. So Prince was your favorite artist?
Yes.
Yeah. Aw. He was a good one.
Yes.
I loved his music.
Yes.
I love the vibration from him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
all right. I'm going to open up the phone line. I know these people have been waiting patiently. Let's go to, I think it's Delphin, or let me see. Hi, who's this?
Hello, hi.
Hi. What's your name, sweetheart? Because I butcher names really good. You don't want me to say it the wrong way.
Delphine.
Delphine. Okay. Great,
Okay.
Delphine. So you have a question for the electrifying Eternal Walker?
Yes. My question is, what do you see coming up for my love life?
Okay, pick a number 1 through 9.
7.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. All right, pick a number 1 through 5.
1.
All right. Well, Delphine, I would say first thing is that you need to get out of your head so much. Stop thinking about everything so incredibly much. Thinkers are great, but it's the actions that get things done. So I would say, just try your very best to balance yourself between your thoughts and your actions. Keep in mind that it's your strength that creates your relationships. And your relationships that you've had up until now haven't been that strong because you haven't put out your true self. It seems like I've only pulled 3 cards. And it seems like the card basically states that you put out a person that is, I guess kind of full of passion, like full of life, but you don't let them know about the idiosyncrasies of you. Does that make sense?
Somewhat, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like the things that make you tick, you don't let them know that. You think that should come later. But you try to kind of woo them with whatever you think they may need. It doesn't look like, again, I'm not trying to say that you're fake. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying that sometimes the reason why we don't get what we want is because we are not being the person we need to be. And so what is it that's stopping you from being able to attract the person that you want to be? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it does.
So I would say, one, to really focus on the thing that's stopping you from being who you want to be. That's a doing action. That's not a thinking thing. And 2, again, like I said earlier, with Lakshmi, you put out more and you get more. Now, I do see there is a gentleman in your cards. I hate saying that because it sounds so cliche. It's in your cards, but there is a gentleman in the cards, one that likes to work, one that makes a pretty decent living, and does a considerable amount of travel, but it's a little far off. It's like a little untouchable, mainly because, well, you're not where you need to be yet. Does that make sense to you?
I guess so. I'm just trying to figure out how do I connect that to, how do I get to that part? Like,
Okay. So let's take the man out the equation for a moment. The opposite sex always muddles up things, right?
right.
So let's take that out the equation for a moment. All right. So we'll talk about a few things that need to happen. Are you still in contact with your mother?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see yourself like your mother?
No.
You don't see yourself. You don't see so many traits, because I'm picking up that you're you are the ruler of the roost, if you may. There are things that you want done, and those things are going to get done, and this is what has to happen, and this is why. And a lot of that has come because you've already went through a bunch of turmoil that you've come out of. You've broken through. You created your own success. You created, you kind of like your own story, if you may. But the biggest thing I would say out of all this, the biggest thing that's in your way is changing. I don't know how to put this. Changing the way that you see people. That's the biggest thing. It's like instead of seeing people as lists or as what you want, what you don't want. Sometimes it's about inviting the one that's closer to what you would like into your life, and maybe just maybe that person would give you something that you didn't know you needed.
Okay.
What I've done, what I did, is I wrote a list, and I put the list away. I wrote everything on the list that I wanted in a person, every single thing, all the way down to the shoe size. That's how specific I was. I wanted the size 8.5 to 9, no more than a 9. Why? I don't know. I just wanted to see, right? So
Right.
I wrote it down, and the universe again is a wonderful thing, and it has its own little sense of humor. Sent me a person that met everything on it, every single thing on it, and wears an 8.5 on one foot and like an 8 3/4 on the other foot. So basically a 9. So write out what you want. Write out what you want and believe that it's going to get there.
I do have a list. I wrote my list. Actually, I wrote it New Year's Eve. Actually.
Okay. Okay.
I have the list, and from time to time, I do look over it. So.
Oh, I forgot about mine. I wrote it. I looked at it and meditated on it for that day. I put it in a big neon, like one of those little neon index card flips. And I wrote on it. I did it. I put it away. I totally forgot about it until, I think it was until we actually got married, and I pulled it out and I said, we were moving or something. I think we were packing up and moving. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. And I looked at it, and she looked at it, and it matched every single thing, which is a bit uncanny. But I would honestly say that you may want to, relax your expectations just a little bit and watch what happens. I'm not telling you to go out with Joe Schmo, but if they don't meet everything on your list, that's okay. The universe will provide it. You just have to be open to do that, to get there.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
All right. I hope I was a little bit of help for you.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Hello, Reverend Raven.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I was talking, but you guys aren't listening. I had myself on mute. I'm bad about that. Isn't that awful? Just smack me upside the head. I love it. I wanted to add to Delphine, and she's already gone, but, when we focus really hard on something, it doesn't make it come faster. It really doesn't. It just throws worrisome out there and makes you old before your time,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, before I take our next caller, which is Gwen, because I told her that she was next on here, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
Okay. Well, let's see. You can start with my Facebook page. I have a Facebook page, Eternal Walker. Just type in Eternal Walker and it will pop up. It's an actual Facebook page. I have a business Facebook page as well, which is the the Readings by Eternal Walker, life readings, or something of that nature.
Right.
I have that one as well. So see, now you have two ways to get in contact with me via Facebook.
Great.
And I also have a Instagram. If you would like to, get on to Instagram and ask me questions or whatnot, that's fine too. My Instagram is eternal_reads. And that's one that you can post things. I'm posting things. I'm starting to post things more because the last time we spoke, I wasn't really that big into social media.
No.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting better.
I think your last post was from 2015 on the site that I had posted on your page today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also, you can email me at eternal.walker, 0712 @gmail.com. And you can also call me or text me, either one, 727-459-4759. So it's, you have a little bit of a choice of how they want to get in contact with me.
That's true. And he's also on raisingvibrationradio.com under guest, his picture that you see right here, right now. You just click under that and it'll take you to the Facebook page and you can, type him a little message there and I'm sure he'll be glad to get back with you. Yeah. So you're on our you're on our website as a guest.
Oh, fantastic.
With a link to your Facebook page. If you ever get a website up, we'll change it to your website.
I'm trying my very best to get a website. I'm just too picky. I'm too gosh darn picky.
Well, my website's done from this network right here that we're doing this from, IntuiTalks. So you might want to check that one out.
Okay. I may have to do that.
Yeah, because she does it's a amazing format. It's through the spiritual net, her intuitalks.com, which is free to join, and then you get to if you want to do a radio program like this, you can do it there. You can just have the website. I think it's like $11 a month for a website. So
okay. Wow.
That's not bad, and
no, right.
And that way. But once you get a website, let me know so we can put the connection and change it under our guest page so we can have it linked right up to your website.
Okay. I'll be more than happy to do that.
Great. Now, are you working locally here in Florida?
Yes. Well, when you say working, are you saying like with my actual job or with
with your gift?
Yes. Well, I travel. Typically I do most of the readings here in Florida. Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, that area, Orlando even. I'll go even as far as Orlando. And I've had a few people want like party readings, which is perfectly fine too. So, I do phone readings, I do text, which is weird, but I do text readings as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and I can even give guidance via email. I try to steer away from email because it's just a little weird.
Right.
But I mean, as far as my gifts are concerned, I'm at the queer's disposal.
I gotcha. All right. So We have one other lady that's been waiting very patiently to get a reading from you, and I'm going to bring her on right now. And all of this stuff that, that you see right now was going, when we do our archive of the show and it goes on my website or goes on Spreaker or YouTube or anything like that. Everything you just said, Eternal, is out there to the internet forever now. So your phone number's out there now. Your email address is out there now.
Okay, that's great.
for everybody to see so they can contact you to get those readings. So without further ado, let me bring on Miss Gwen here. Gwen.
Okay.
Hi, Gwen. Are you there? Hello? Oh, no. Not there, huh? Oh, no. I thought she was there. I seen her on the computer. Maybe she's gone. I don't know. They're gone. I guess that's, it happens. It happens. I don't know what happened there. Crazy. We lost several waiting in line. Patience,
Yeah.
Hi, Tom. Tom joined us. Say hi to Tom.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
So, anyway, what do you think, we got a few minutes left here on the show and stuff like that, but what do you think about what's going on out in the universe right now?
Okay. Wow, that's
a big question, right?
That's a very big question.
I know.
But 2 years ago. No, wow, it's longer than that. It's been about 4 years ago. I was in a shop, a local shop, and we were there after hours, and I was the reader there, and we had a talk session. And the talk session was like it was a kind of like a impromptu, almost like a seance, if you may.
Huh?
And the woman that owned the shop, she was not one to say really deep things. She was just like light and fluffy and happy bunnies and everything's going to be great kind of thing.
Mhm.
And she said this was right before 2000. This was you remember when the world ended in 2012? You remember that?
Yes.
Okay, you remember when they were saying all that, and the people were all in St. Pete with the posters and saying the world was going to end and all that?
Yes, I remember. I don't remember the exact date, but I remember it, yeah.
Okay, she said the world did end. She said it did end. She said from that moment forward, the consciousness shifted. Everything shifted. And because it shifted, the people that were of good would be under great duress, and the people that were of bad would be more noticed. And when she said that, she said something along the lines of, and the people with the light will have to shine even brighter because the darkness will get even heavier.
Mhm.
And we were like, whoa. Did you all hear that? And I mean, we were all floored because this is the person that, whenever you ask, well, how do I get rid of such and such in my life? Oh, just wish them health, wealth, and happiness and watch them leave. And
wow.
she came out with that, and I was like, ooh, okay. So, and from that point, everything shifted. You started to see people's attitudes shift. You started to see negativity creeping in. You started to see the acceptance of negativity. You started to see just ugliness of people and anger. And I was listening to Prince, one of his interviews he had with I believe it was Tavis Smiley, and he was saying that when he was a kid he saw contrails in the sky. and he never knew what they were. He just thought they were kind of cool because they were just up there. And he said that, he started to notice his neighbors becoming angrier and people becoming nastier and, things becoming just to the point of being just nasty, and you weren't able to talk to people. And so a lot of this has to deal with the fact that we as a light collective, we as a spiritual force have to do something. We actually have to get off of our behinds and congregate together and be together and raise the vibration level, because right now in Cleveland there's a whack-a-mole up in Cleveland.
Right.
And honestly, I will say this like I've said to everybody else. It doesn't matter who's president. It really doesn't, because they don't go off of their own agenda, but what matters is how we allow that person in office to affect us.
Right.
And what's going on is, you have all of these, I have to be careful what to say over the media, but all these situations going on.
Right.
And there's pretty much one commonality, and it's not skin color. That's the weird thing. It's one commonality, and that commonality is most of the people doing the incidents are prior military.
Wow.
Prior war vets.
Now see, what the word came to me is ignorance.
Well, that too, because I don't know if you've ever met anyone from the from a conflict, but most of the people, most Marines, most Army, they're right there on the forefront.
Right.
But most of them are right there, and you have all of this. You have people being shot and killed and all this stuff in front of you on a daily basis. You go to sleep with gunfire, you wake up with gunfire, and then you come back, and they don't really desensitize you from it. They put you in a chamber for 24 hours, and then they say, okay, you're fine, go. Well, that doesn't really help anything. The 4th of July fireworks, I know for a fact it set a lot of people off. Because of the post-traumatic stress. I was in the Air Force, and I was blessed to be in the Air Force. But I went at a non-combative time, and when I came back, I still had to sit in a decompression chamber for 3 days. I had to sit, and it wasn't really like a decompression, like all by yourself. It was almost like a deprogramming. They showed us a picture of sand, which is where we were, and then they showed us a picture of grass. And then they showed us a picture of the city, and then they showed us a picture of the sand, and they showed us a picture of grass. Then they showed us a picture of bunnies, and they showed us a picture of people dying. And, so they were trying to desensitize us from that imagery that we had seen. I don't know if they do that anymore. So a lot of what's going on in the world right now is the fact of budget cuts and not really caring about people. The money's not there, and the mental stability of the people isn't there, because, well, let's face it, if it was, we wouldn't be having a former Marine luring people just to do what he did.
Right.
You know, and the VA doesn't help.
So what about yesterday that happened in Louisiana? That kid, he wasn't military, was he?
You talking about the one that was on the highway?
The one that killed 3 cops yesterday?
Yes, he was an ex-Marine.
Oh, ex-Marine. Okay. Wow.
And the craziest thing about it is the community of light workers like us.
Mm-hmm.
We congregate and we talk, and the ones that are congregating and talking are doing all the talking and congregating, and then the ones that are sitting and doing nothing are the ones that we actually need to help. You know, we all need to kind of pull together and, you know, put our energy out there to combat this nastiness.
Yes. I agree with you. I agree with you. We all got to come together and you know, connect with each other and send that higher vibration out and let people know that they are cared for. I almost feel like they don't have anybody listening to them.
Right. And I mean, I honestly think my honest opinion, and my wife would be so proud of me if I told you this, or if she knew I was going to say this. I think everyone needs to turn on the Beatles album and listen to Come Together.
Right.
And then do something, because as soon as you hear that song, as soon as you listen to it, you want to go out and do something happy.
Yes.
You know, and my wife, she actually got me into the Beatles. I listened to them a few times, but I wasn't really into them. She got me into them, and I will tell you, it's probably one of the better things you can do, because no matter if you are a child of the 60s, a child of the 70s, child of the 80s, it doesn't matter. You turn it on, and all of a sudden, somewhere, no matter how angry you are, there's going to be a smile that creeps up somewhere.
Right.
And
exactly.
I honestly think we just need to laugh more. Laugh more, come together, let's do this thing, let's get this nastiness out of here, and watch love take over. But, you know, the hard part about it is getting our message out there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you 1%. Yes, I would love for you to play a song at the end of the show, Jenny. That would be helpful. My friend Jenny, she's the creator of this network that we're on, and she plays music for me every now and then, and I'd love for her. I'd love to close out the show with something beautiful to go along with it, because music is a good way of raising your vibration. You're right? I mean,
right.
Yeah. Just like Let's Go Crazy by Prince. I love that song. When I hear that, I want to get up and clean the kitchen. I don't like cleaning the kitchen, but when I hear that song, I will clean the kitchen up.
Wow. Have you heard the Let's Go Crazy movie, the movie version of it?
You mean Purple Rain?
Yeah, the Purple Rain. The movie
yeah.
version.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It goes on forever, and it's a great song. Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. So, all right. Well, since we lost some of our callers and some of that during the evening show, and it is summertime, every time in the summer we lose Eternal, I hope you're going to come back on here again.
I will be more than, hey, just let me know when. I would be happy to.
Cause I love your energy. When I met you last year, I was like, I love this guy. I'd love to go to a bookshop and get a reading from you personally in a bookstore. Do you go to any bookstores around town?
I do, but I mean, you don't need to necessarily come to a bookstore.
I know.
I mean, but yeah, to see the strange thing about the bookshops, and I know we're running a little close on time, but real quick, the problem with bookstores now is they don't have the person in mind any longer. It's all about the sales. Yeah, because Barnes Noble.
Right.
I can't go in the Barnes Noble and do a reading.
Right. I know.
But I could have went into Borders and did the reading.
Wow. So what about New Age bookstores? Are there not any? What part? Do you live in Pinellas County?
No, I actually live. I used to live in Pinellas. Now I live in Pasco.
Oh, you're up in Pasco.
Yes.
I got you. There's not that many. There's not that many New Age bookstores up there.
No, but the problem with those stores is that they have readers of their own, and they unfortunately look down heavily upon the people, like people coming in and saying, "Oh yeah, I can do readings," and because you do have your charlatans, you do have the people out there that will do whatever it takes to get your money,
right? Right.
And those people are the ones that make everything rough.
Right.
I'm kind of doing a project at the same time, like as we're speaking, at Casadega. There's a filming there that is talking about the Hotel Casadega.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know when it's going to come out. I just know the pilot's been done. But it's talking about the hotel and the readers there, and I'm one of the featured readers at the hotel.
When did you become a featured reader there?
Well, I was a featured reader only for the show. But after I did the feature reading,
yeah,
the owner wants me to come back and do more readings.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, Diana, she is fantastic.
Yeah, she is.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, but that's something in the works.
Yay!
Hopefully it does something. We don't know yet.
Yes, it is going to do something. Yes, we do know because I see it happening, and I'm so going to go there and see you there.
Fantastic.
All right. So you guys, you know how to hook up with him. You can go to raisingvibrationradio.com, go to guest page, look for Eternal's picture there. It'll take you right to his Facebook page. You can go back and listen to the archives or phone numbers. I'll go back and I'll put his phone number on our Facebook page. So you can also go to Casadega because he's going to be a feature reader at the hotel. I know he is. I see him there, and that place is haunted. Let me tell you.
Yes, and that's something that Diana will tell you. She'll tell you straight up that there are entities in the rooms.
Yes, there is. I got played by one. I stayed in room number 2, so
okay.
on the porch there. So
right.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
I feel so blessed. All right, Jenny, are you on? You want to play a song to get us out of here? All right.
Here come old flat top, he come grooving up slowly. He got two eyeballs, he wants holy roller. He got head down to his feet. Got to be a ghost cause he's so hard to please. He wears no shoe shine, he's got ballroom scumper, he got funky finger, he's just a soda. I know you know me. Something I can tell you if you got to be free. Come together, right now, over you. Keep back production. We got